Renounce all of this hypocrisy that we are living in. Don't send your mind into this duality of a little bit of this, a little bit of this. Assimilate into American culture. Assimilate into Canadian culture. What is this? Why are you more obliged to the Canadian laws and the American laws or the British laws rather than the Khalsa laws? Your allegiance as a Khalsa, this is why you introduce yourself in this way. Who are you? You do not say, I'm Vaheguru Ji ka Canadian. You do not say I'm Vaheguru Ji ka American or British. No, you are saying Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa. And whose fateh do you work for? You do not say, I work for the fateh of Canadian economics or for the economy of the American culture or for the British pound. That is not what you work for. No, Vaheguru Ji ki fateh, that is what you work for. This is the Khalsa identity. Choti le pakhanda, naam leya jaye taranda. Renounce your hypocrisy and walk this path with your full body, full mind, even your wealth. Accept the Guru's hukum to be truth. Satnam Sri Vaheguru Sahib Ji. Koee Gaavai Ragi Nadi Vedi Bahu Pant Kar, Nahi Har Har Pijay Ram Raje. Jina Antar Kapat Vikar Hai, Tina Roye Kya Kijay. Har Karta Sab Kich Jaanda, Sir Rog Hath Dijay. जिना नानक गुरमुख हिरदा सुध है, हर भगत हर लीजै. सलोक महला पहला, गौ ब्राह्मण कौ कर लावहो, गोबर तर न जाई. धोती टिक्का तै जप माली, धान मलेच्छा खाई. अंतर पूजा पढ़ै कितेबा, संजम तुर का पाई. छोडी ले पाखंडा, ਨਾਮ ਲਇਆ ਜਾਹੇ ਤਰੰਦਾ. ਮਹੱਲਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ. ਮਾਨਸ ਖਾਣੇ ਕਰਹਿ ਨਿਵਾਜ, ਛੁਰੀ ਵਗਾਇਨ ਤਿਨ ਗਲ ਤਾਗ. ਤਿਨ ਕਰ ਬ੍ਰਾਹਮਣ ਪੂਰਹਿ ਨਾਦ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਪੇ ਆਵਹਿ ਓਈ ਸਾਧ. ਕੂੜੀ ਰਾਸ ਕੂੜਾ ਵਾਪਾਰ, ਕੂੜ ਬੋਲ ਕਰਹਿ ਆਹਾਰ. ਸਰਮ ਧਰਮ ਕਾ ਡੇਰਾ ਦੂਰ, ਨਾਨਕ ਕੂੜ ਰਹਿਆ ਭਰਪੂਰ. ਮੱਥੈ ਟਿੱਕਾ ਤੇੜ ਧੋਤੀ ਕਖਾਈ, ਹੱਥ ਛੁਰੀ ਜਗਤ ਕਾ ਸਾਈ. ਨੀਲ ਵਸਤਰ ਪਹਿਰ ਹੋਵੈ ਪਰਵਾਨ, ਮਲੇਛ ਧਾਨ ਲੈ ਪੁਜਹਿ ਪਰਾਨ. ਆਪਾਖਿਆ ਕਾ ਕੁਠਾ ਬਕਰਾ ਖਾਣਾ, ਚੌਕੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਕਿਸੈ ਨਾ ਜਾਣਾ. ਦੇ ਕੈ ਚੌਕਾ ਕੱਢੀ ਕਾਰ, ਉਪਰ ਆਏ ਬੈਠੇ ਕੂੜਿਆਰ. ਮਤ ਪਿੱਟੈ ਵੇ ਮਤ ਪਿੱਟੈ, ਇਹੋ ਅੰਨ ਅਸਾਡਾ ਫਿੱਟੈ. ਤਨ ਫਿੱਟੈ ਫੇੜ ਕਰੇਨ, ਮਨ ਝੂਠੈ ਚੁਲੀ ਪਰੇਨ. ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਸੱਚ ਤੇ ਆਈਐ, ਸੁਚ ਹੋਵੈ ਤਾਂ ਸੱਚ ਪਾਈਐ. ਪੌੜੀ. ਚਿਤੈ ਅੰਦਰ ਸਭ ਕੋ, ਵੇਖ ਨਦਰੀ ਹੇਠ ਚਲਾਏਦਾ. ਆਪੇ ਦੇ ਵਡਿਆਈਆਂ, ਆਪੇ ਹੀ ਕਰਮ ਕਰਾਏਦਾ. ਵਡੋ ਵਡਾ ਵਡ ਮੇਦਨੀ, ਸਿਰੇ ਸਿਰ ਧੰਦਾ ਲਾਏਦਾ. ਨਦਰਿਓ ਪੱਠੀ ਜੇ ਕਰੇ, ਸੁਲਤਾਨਾ ਕਾਹੋ ਕਰਾਏਂਦਾ. ਦਰ ਮੰਗਨ ਭਿਖ ਨਾ ਪਾਏਂਦਾ. ਨਦਰਿਓ ਪੱਠੀ ਜੇ ਕਰੇ, ਸੁਲਤਾਨਾ ਕਾਹੋ ਕਰਾਏਂਦਾ. ਦਰ ਮੰਗਨ ਭਿਖ ਨਾ ਪਾਏਂਦਾ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. ਗੁਰੂ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, we must make sure that anything that we do, what influence are we doing it under? Why do we do the actions that we do? Are we trying to impress somebody? Are we under the oppression of anybody? And we also must look at, are we oppressing anybody? The things and the actions that we do, whether they are at a worldly level or if they are at a spiritual or religious level, are we doing them under the oppression, under the sword of anybody by forcefully making us do that? And therefore, we pretend to be something else, but in order to please somebody, we do something else. Pyaro, this may be happening in our own homes with children and their parents. It may be happening with workers and their bosses. It may be happening with citizens and the politicians. Pyaro, it may be happening with you and your true Guru. Are we pretending to be something else on the outside, and on the inside we're something else? Pyareo, the reality is Akal Purkh Sache Pacha knows everything that's inside of our hearts, every action that we do. And that's what Sache Pacha here, they're teaching us in this 16th pauri of Sri Asa Di Vaar. Sache Pacha explains to us that you can be doing whatever acts you want to do on the outside. You may be pretending to fall in love with God. You may be crying with your tears out. You may be doing ritualistic acts. You may be showing the world that you are doing such an action in order to please them. But on the inside, you are something else. Pyareo, be true on the inside. Be true on the outside. Read Galliyan si changiyan, achari buriyar. Pyareo, we may be speaking great things, speaking sweet words, religious texts it may be. But in the inside, if our actions and what we do at home behind closed doors, if that is completely different, Pyareo, Sache Pacha knows exactly whether it's something that we desire. You desire something, you request something from Akal Purkh. Without you saying it, Akal Purkh knows. Whether it's an ichha that you have, antarjami purkh badate, sarda man ki pure, Sache Pacha knows the inside of what you are desiring. And Sache Pacha will fulfill those as well. And whether it's the pains that are inside of your heart, mere man prem lago har tir, hamri bedan har prab jane, mere man antar ki pir. My Akal Purkh Sache Pacha knows the inside of each and every heart. Sache Pacha will explain in the pauri of how Sache Pacha works and how Sache Pacha knows everything. There is nothing other than Akal Purkh in this world. Any thought, any action that is done, it is within the lekha. That is all written within the hukam of Akal Purkh themselves. But first, before we begin, let's look at the Shant of Shri Guru Ramdas Ji Sache Pacha, where they explain that just by doing actions and crying out to God on the outside does not mean anything if you're full of filth on the inside. If you are truly shuddh, truly pure on the inside and the outside, if your heart is filled with love, only then do you get blessed with the Guru Sahib Sache Pacha's blessings of Naam, and you get your place of honor in God's court. Sache Pacha says, Koee Gaavai Ragi Nadi Vidhi Bhau Pant Kar, Nahi Har Har Pijay Ram Raje. Somebody can be singing praises, singing many songs in many different types of melodies and rags. Many different types of tunes they can be using. Nadi, meaning they could be playing different types of tunes. They could be playing the conch shell. They could be playing many different type of instruments. Vedi, they could be reading many different types of scriptures and books and songs and different words and lyrics they could be singing. Bhaupantkar, in many different ways. Nahi har har pijay Ramaraje, but if you are merely just galliyan si changiyan, if your words are sweet, but on the inside achari buriyar, it is completely false, something completely the opposite. On the inside, your heart is filled with filth, and you are not truly nahi har har pijay Ramaraje, you are not truly drenched in that love of Akal Purkh, completely in tune and imbued in the love. If you're not feeling it, you're not experiencing it. Whether you're sitting on a stage and you're doing kirtan for the sangat, if you're just there to show off to the rest of the world, it doesn't matter what beautiful tunes you're doing. Then all of that, Pyareo, it is all worthless. That is not what true bhakti it is. That is not what true devotional love is. You need to be truly drenched in the love of your heart when you speak about God, when you praise God, when you sing these tunes. If you're just doing it for lok dakhawa, just showing off to the world, pleasing people, then Pyareo, that cannot be considered true bhakti. You can be showing the world, pretending that you're a great singer, a great musician, a great kirtani on the outside, but Sache Pacha andron tinu jaande ne. Sache Pacha knows what intentions you do it with, that's inside of your heart. Jina antar kapat vikar hai, tinna roye kya kijay. They could be sitting and they could be crying out with love, but if their heart is filled, jina antar, inside of them kapat is full of corruption and vikar, full of vices for greed, lust, attachment, ego, anger. They're filled with this jealousy. If they're filled with that, then Even if they're crying and going door to door saying and begging, please give to me. They're crying in front of people and they're singing and their tears can come out of their eyes. Somebody can pretend to sing greatly and just with such great voices. Somebody says, wow, this person is such in virag, pyareo. Jit, on the inside, you're something else, and on the outside, you're pretending. Pyareo, then Sache Pacha knows your true intention. Even Bhagat Fariji, the line that we read all the time. Frida kale mende kapde, kala menda ves, gunhi parya mefra, lok kehen darves. The reality is you can be wearing great clothes, singing great viragi, full of bliss, and crying out to people. Tina roy kya kija? What good is your crying? Because even that crying is false. What good is wearing your clothes? What good is going and pretending and singing door to door if your intention is something else? If your intention is just to loot the people, trick the people, or attach the people to yourself, to gain more followers for yourself, to gain more attention for yourself, for somebody to say, wow, this person is so in tune with God. So the world can praise you for being a devotee of God, but in the reality, on the inside, you're just there for the people's praise. Pyareo, jina antar kapt vikar hai, dinna roye kya kije? What is good? What good is their crying? Har karta sab kich janda, my Kalpurk knows every intention, knows every action, he knows every being. Sir rog hat dija pyareo, on top of your head, inside of your head. You could be carrying weights and weights of sins, weights and weights of diseases. Sir rog hat dija, but then with your hand you try to cover it up. You have a disease on your body, inside of your mind, but you cover it up with your hand. You are trying not to let the world know that you're full of this sin, you're full of this intention. Pyareo, but my har karta sab kish janda. He knows everything. Who can you be hiding it from? You could be full of anger, irka, any of these vikars, pyareo. But when my Guru knows inside of your heart through your mind is knowing something, but your mind does not know something that knows it. My Karta Kalpurk knows even what your mind before your thought even comes. My Kalp, you do not know your karmas that are about to come, but my Guru, my Karta knows even what is about to come for you, because my Karta, he's created this entire universe, this entire creation, and we are part of that creation as well. Pyaro, we're just discussing Tukumatar. The Vyakhya of this can be spent very long. But when we look at all of these concepts put together with the sloks and the pauri and pyareo, let's try not to pretend, but because my Karta knows everything. Jina Nanak Gurmukh Hirda Suddha hai, har Bhagat har lija. But those that do have true intention, true love, inside and outside, they win this game of life. They're accepted into God's court. Pyaro, their heart is fully pure. The God Naam of Akal Purkh is residing inside of their heart, shining inside of their heart. And they are imbued, drenched in that love. They become pure. Har Bhagat har lija. They are blessed with this bhakti. They are blessed with this devotional worship. And Akal Purkh accepts them into their court. Har Bhagat har lija. So pyareo, when we focus on this first slok, Sache Pacha says, stand up for your rights. Do not go under oppression. Do not bear the zalam, the sword of tyranny by anybody else. Pyareo, whether you are the person that is oppressing, Sache Pacha condemns you. Whether you are the person that is joining those people that are doing the tyranny, joining them, joining their side just so you can be on the good side, have the pleasures of being part of their rule, but also going and oppressing those people that are not standing up, those people that are being walked all over. Pyara, you're part of the bystander effect, what many studies are done on. You're oppressing those people, but you're actually part of them. Here Sache Pacha explains an analogy that they see. There is somebody who is a Hindu. There is a Mughal, a Muslim Islam rule. Not true Muslims, but tyrants. They are oppressing the poor Hindus. And some Hindus are going and joining the sides of the tyrants. And they are also joining their side and oppressing the poor Hindus. Even though they are Hindus themselves, they do not practice what they preach, because in front of the eyes of the Mughals, in front of the eyes of those that are oppressing, they are joining their side. They wear their clothes. They speak their language. They receive the pay from them. They eat their food. They join them. They do all the customs according to them. But inside of their own homes, they're actually still practicing Hinduism. They're still practicing what they truly are, but to the world, they do not want to show that. So instead, what they truly are, they go and oppress other people as well. So, Pyareo, let's look at in our lives as well. Are we not going under influence of what the media says, of what the politicians say, of what the greater standards are in whatever Western or Eastern cultures you are a part of? We gain into under this influence. In the inside, we're truly something else. You may be calling yourself a Sikh, calling yourself a Christian, calling yourself a Hindu, calling yourself a Muslim. But on the outside, you're just trying to pretend to be. You're assimilating into somebody else's culture. And then you go and join them, but then somebody else that is following the Dharam, religion, spirituality in the true way, you know that is truth, but in order to fit into somebody else's crowd, you oppress somebody else. Pyareo, whether you, just like I've seen, when young children, even though somebody is truly, for example, whether it's football fans or basketball or hockey players, many children in high school or middle school, they look up. This is just a small analogy that I'm giving. It's not from Gurbani, but it's something that I've seen in my experience. Some children, they go and they hang out with their friends, they spend time, and one group of friends, they'll say that we are fans of this specific football team, whether it be Real Madrid or whether it be Barcelona, or we are fans of this Canadian hockey team. You're a fan of the American hockey teams or the football teams. We are the cooler ones. We are the ones that are more accepted because look, we wear the jerseys. Or whether it's Kobe Bryant or LeBron James or whether it's David Beckham, we are fans of this person. And the other person will say, but I'm a fan of this other team. I'm a fan of this Brazilian soccer team, football team. Or I'm a fan of this other basketball team, may it be. Majority of the boys, they'll go and they'll gang up on that one person and they'll have this debate. And then in the midst of that crowd and that debate, which is just for fun, in innocence, there will be one child who doesn't know what side to join. Even though on the inside, he is kind of liking that Brazilian soccer team. He is liking the side which is in minority. But because the majority of the boys, they are more dominant and they're pushing their side and they have the proofs and the stats of the games. And this one child is thinking, what side should I join? But just in order to please and join the side, he starts acting, even though he doesn't care. He doesn't watch soccer, football, even those sports. Maybe he plays them. He doesn't enjoy getting into these debates, but instead he starts acting and saying, yeah, I really enjoy your basketball team. He starts wearing their clothes. He starts speaking their language just in order to fit in. Pyareo, this analogy can be put into something maybe the females may be experiencing, whether it be in fashion or what boy bands you may be trying to be a part of and what sort of culture you try to fit in. We do this on a daily basis, whether it's at a political level. This is just a childish example I gave you. But whether it's at a political level, whether it's at a religious level, whether it's at any sort of scientific levels, Pyareo, we try to fit into this in so many ways. Societal levels, cultural levels. Sache Pacha, let me explain the Uthanka of this salok. Uthanka means the background of when and who it was recited to. Pyareo, near the city of Sultanpur, there was a river that was flowing. And during that time, there was the rule of the Mughals who had invaded. With these Mughals who followed the Islam Dharm, the Islamic faith, they came with this agenda to push Islam all across India, and whoever wasn't, that we would tax them, that we will force them, or we will lay down our sword of tyranny on top of them. And when this started happening, many people started going hungry. And in this state of hunger, for the need to fill their own stomach, they started joining the sides of the tyrants. There was one Khatri, Pyareo, in the Hindu societal system. There was the 4 caste system. Brahmins, the Khatri, the Sudras, and the Vais. Pyareo, there was a Khatri whose job was to collect tax for anybody who crossed over this bridge. This bridge was built. Everybody is crossing over. This bridge is still there today, but it is in ruins today. That bridge, which many people would cross over all the time, this tax collector would never ever let them cross over without giving the tax. He is working under the Islamic rulers. He is working under the Mughal rulers. Even though he is a Khatri, at home he practices Hinduism. At home he practices his worship of idols. But outside, now he is pretending, and he's wearing the clothes of the Islamic rulers. He's wearing their dress. He's even speaking their language. And when the Nawaz are read out, he goes and joins them in reading the prayers of Islam. And whenever the feasts, in the way that the Islam Dharma serves them through doing halal, he goes and he joins in those feasts as well. But on the inside, when he goes home, he is doing something else completely. One day comes when there was a Brahmin who was donated a cow. So he took this cow and he traveled all the way back home. When he was traveling from the east to the west, he came to cross over this bridge. And because he didn't have money on him, he'd been traveling for a long way, the Khatri, who was the tax collector, he said that I cannot let you cross over this bridge unless you pay me tax. The cow was hungry, and so was the Brahmin. Because they could not afford to give money, they sat there. They said that, "Oh Khatri, it is your dharma. It is your job to respect a Brahmin. It is your job to pay respects to those that are walking the spiritual path. I need you to just let me cross over because I am hungry and this cow is hungry. I do not have the money on me. I can return the money to you. Just do me this one favor." But this Khatri said, "No, I don't care if you starve to death. You must pay me because I am working obliged to this one rule." Pyareo, when we look at ourselves, what rule do we oblige ourselves to? Whose side are we on? Are we on the side of man-made rule, or are we on the side of Khalsa Kalpur ki Fauj? The side of truth, the true niyam, the true hukam mai karta that never changes. The rules of man, the laws of man will change. The laws of your countries will change as well. Whose side are you on? Pyareo khair. The Khatri is saying, I'm part of this rule because I receive my income. I receive my food. My food that goes into my stomach is coming from that side. That is what this Khatri is thinking, this tax collector. But this Brahmin is feeling hungry. He's saying that my dharma, I could have joined the side of the tyrant rulers, but no, I'm being now oppressed by the rule. Before I was able to cross over this river on this bridge whenever I wanted to. But now, this rule has come in. There is no respect for the spiritual people anymore. This entire system is being thrown out. And therefore, what am I able to do? So just do me this favor, let me cross over. That is your dharma. Pero as this entire situation was taking place, Guru Nanak Dev Ji is traveling from Sultanpur and they're walking this way as well. They're watching this entire situation happen. Luckily, somebody came and they were about to pay for that Brahmin to cross over. They gave him a few coins. They crossed over, but at that time, the cow whom the Brahmin owned, it's let out its dung. It defecated at that time. And when this Khatri saw the cow dung, he quickly ran. He cleaned it up, he picked it up, and he kept it for himself. He took it home. when he took that cow dung home, he made it into a shape of idols and he started worshipping it. Using that cow dung, ਉਹਨੇ ਠਾਕੁਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਪੂਜਾ ਕੀਤੀ. He was still doing the religious practice of the Khatri, of the Hindus at that time. He was going according at home, according to the Hindus, but during the outside, while he was at work, he was working according to whatever rule was during that time. Pyareo, are you going according to Western rule, but inside your homes you're doing something else? No, you need to be inside and out, completely pure. On the outside, are you pretending to be westernized? Are you pretending to follow the celebrities of the world, whatever is more popular in Hollywood or Bollywood or Tollywood? Is that what you are trying to follow and chase after? But on the inside, you're trying to follow something else. Andaron ਹੋਰ ਕੁਛ, ਬਾਹਰੋਂ ਹੋਰ ਕੁਛ. You're pretending to be Western and going according to the society of the world, whatever the way the world says that this is more popular. But on the inside, you're still wanting to follow Sikhi. Inside, you still consider yourself to be a Sikh and Mera Dil Sachaya. But pyaro, that is not what true Shuddhata, Suchamta, Safai, purity comes from. You have to be following it inside and out, purely. So here, pyareo, Guru Nanak Dev Ji is watching this. Luckily, somebody comes, pays for that Brahman. The Brahman crosses over. They cross over the bridge. But that Khatri is still sitting there. And he's still doing that puja. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji arrives at that bridge. Bhai Mardana Ji goes close to that Khatri to see what that Khatri is doing. That tax collector. What is he doing? And that tax collector says, "Shoo, go away. Don't come near me because you'll make my place impure. Go away from here." And Guru Nanak Dev Ji laughs and says these words in front of that Khatri and says, "Oh Khatri, look at what pakhand, look at how big of a hypocrite you are. You are falling under the rule of somebody else. You are falling under the impression of somebody else. Yet you are doing something else completely. Outside you're something else, inside you're something else." Sache Paja says, "Go Brahman ko kar lavo, gobar tarna jai." The go of the Brahman, the cow of the Brahman, you are putting a tax on that. Because you are actually, your dharma is to follow and respect the Brahmans. Your Guru is the Brahman, yet you do not respect your Guru. Gobar tarna jai, but yet you take this cow dung, you respect it, you put it on your forehead, you turn it into a statue, you worship it like it's your idols, you treat it like God. In this way, gobar tarna jai, this cow dung is not going to let you cross across this world ocean. It's not going to liberate you. This is not how you are going to attain God. You are a hypocrite. Pyareo, you are doing something else, yet you are falling under the influence of what this world is influencing you to do. Go Brahman ko kar lavo, gobar tarna jai. Pyareo, sometimes we even dress in certain ways. You put on certain makeups, you put on certain jewelry, you speak certain languages even. On the inside, you're trying to be something else. On the outside, you're something else. Just by doing the physical and just by doing the ritualistic things and not truly feeling it and doing that inside and out, pyareo, you're not going to be liberated either. Gobar tarna jai. He is taking the cow dung, treating it like if it is the nectar of God, putting it onto his forehead, turning it into a statue. Pyareo, Sache Pacha is not condemning any of these acts. No, they're saying, but don't be hypocritical in what you do. Toti tikka tajap mali. You're wearing a toti. What is a loincloth that would be wrapped around the waist? Toti tikka, and you're wearing this mark on the forehead. Toti tikka tajap mali, and you're taking this mala which you do simran and meditation on, you put it around your neck. Taan mile cha khai, but whose food do you eat? Taan meaning food. Where does this food come from? It comes from the Malesh. Pyareo, this word Malesh would be used for the foreigners. Those people that would become these words, those people that would come and invade, those people that are not welcome, those people that are polluted. This is a common word that would be used for the Mughal invaders at the time. Taan malecha khai. And what are you doing? You're eating the food of the foreigners. Yet you're doing the tasks of Toti Tikka Tajab Mali. You're pretending you're dressing like this at home, but outside you eat the food from them. Pyareo, the reality is the type of food you eat, that is the type of mind you become. There is a saying, Jaisa an, taisa man. Jaisa pani, vaisi bani. This is the type of saying that we use, the type of water you drink, that is the type of words that you speak. You eat the food of the Malays, the foreigners, the tyrants, and now you're speaking in the same way as them as well. You're oppressing your own guru. You're telling your own guru that you need to pay tax to me. Yet you are actually trying to pretend to follow your guru as well. Antar puja bahar kateba. Inside of your own home, you're reading the katebs. You're reading the Veds and following the way of the Hindus. Antar puja padhe kateba sanjam turka pai. But then on the outside, you're dressing and you're following the discipline of what? Of the Turks. Why are you following the way of the Turks? Either choose one or choose the other. Don't go into this duality. Don't go into duchitta pan pyareo. How many times do we consider ourselves to be half just Canadian, British, and then half a little bit of Sikhi? You consider yourself to be a little bit of Hindu, but a little bit of Sikh. You consider yourself to be half Christian, but half Sikh. You consider yourself to be half atheist, but then kind of a little bit believing in Sikhi. You are agnostic, but you're Buddhist. You're Buddhist, yet you're a Sikh. Pyareo, go one way fully. Why? And we have to look at, and Sache Pacha is not just saying, choose one. Sache Pacha is saying, look at why you are taking the influence. Why are you going into duality? Because inside of you, there's something true. Follow that true path. Pyareo, realize who your true guru is. And why are you going into the influence of one or the other? And even if you're saying that I am one, where is that influence truly coming from? Search deep inside yourself and you will find the answers, pyareo. You eat this food of the Malays and you do the sanjam. You do the ways, you practice the ways of the Turks. Shoti le pakhanda, Sache Pacha yells at that Khatri and says, renounce this hypocrisy. Let go of this thing where you are being a hypocrite. Naam leya jahi taranda. The only way that you are going to cross over this world, be liberated from this world and not drown in this world, is if you connect to Naam, pyareo. The reality is, by doing any of these actions, pleasing your parents and then pleasing the world, pleasing your employer, pleasing these standards of society, pleasing what the girls at your school will think of you, all of these things, pyareo, these things will not liberate you. The only thing that will liberate you, when you go from all duality, you renounce it. You connect to Naam. Naam leya jahi taranda. Where will this Naam come from you? It will come from the true Guru. Connect to this Naam. Connect to this true devotional bhakti. Be that form of the Naam inside and out. Be walking, talking Gurbani. Be living Gurbani. Speak Gurbani. See Gurbani. Hear Gurbani. See that. Live that. Pyareo. Connect to the Naam. Become the Naam. Naam leya Jai Tananda. This is how you will be liberated. This is how you will become that form of Akal Purkh. But pyareo, by doing any of these hypocritical actions, by pleasing the world, and even just going into that and accepting the tyranny of the oppressors, you will not be liberated either. Sache Pacha here is saying that don't even just take the hypocrisy. Don't just take the oppression either. Pyareo, let me just pause here and give you a few examples, which we read in Gurbani as well. Whether you are being oppressed from home, to not follow Naam, you have to follow one way, the Punjabi culture, and then also Sikhi culture. Pyareo, no. Even at this time, pyareo, there is respect, utter and utmost respect to your mother and father. But even there was a time when the father became a tyrant. He was oppressing, and the child said no to the father and connected to Akal Purkh. Pyareo, we will be reading this at the end of Shri Asa Di Vaar as well. Har jug jug bhagti upaya, paj rakhda aya Ram Raji. Har nakhash, dusht har marya, prahlad taraya. Pyareo, there was a time when even Harnakash, who was the king, who was the father of Prahlad, and said that you must say my name Harnakash, Harnakash. And this son, Prahlad, said, no, I will take the name of my Hari. I will take the name of my Paramatma. The father threw that child down the ocean, threw the child off of a mountain, put the child inside a fire, tortured the child in many, many different ways. And when it came time, he pulled out his sword and said, "Who is going to save you now?" And from behind him, Akal Purkh made the noise. Pero, there's the Shabad in Gurbani that we read all the time. Akal Purkh came out in the form of Narsingh and destroyed Harnakash, because the reality is, Tu mera pata, tu hai mere mata. You are my father, you are my mother, you are my brother, you are my friend, you are my true support, O my beloved. The reality is that sometimes we cannot even take oppression from our parents, from our friends, from our loved ones, from our spouses. Pyareo, you cannot be taking this oppression. Sache Pacha is saying, don't take this oppression and stand up for what is truth. Don't be like that Brahman that was just waiting for somebody else to come and let him go across. No. Don't be that Brahman that somebody walks all over, that the Muslim tyrant rule came and took over all of India at that time and oppressing everybody. And do not be that person who's just joining them and oppressing your own either. Sache Pacha is saying here, even when you look at another example in Gurbani, even if you look at Bhagat Naam Dev Ji Pyareo, they say these words to their mother. Na ho tera pungra, na tu meri mai. I am not your son and you are not my mother. Because the mother is saying that you cannot walk this path of bhakti. You cannot connect to God. Pero, this is a long prasang which we will share another day. But Bhagat Naam Dev Ji, even when something is stopping you from connecting to Akal Purkh, you must renounce that as well. Keep that love, Pyareo. This is not saying do not love your mother and father. That is not what I'm saying, no. But if something is holding you back from speaking up to truth, don't let that hold you back. If something is holding you back, whether it's a cultural standard, whether it's the influence of somebody more dominant in your family, in your group of friends, in the laws of the country that you live in, no, you must stand up if there's oppression being, whether it's the Indian government, whether it's the Canadian government, whether it's the American government, whether it's the Polish government, whether it's the Russian government, whether it may be the entire world put together. May the entire world and all governments come together. Whether all worlds come together and they try to oppress you and they say that you must follow our ways, but you are truly trying to connect to Naam, whether they try to make fun of you. Pyareo, nahi shodon re Baba Ram Naam. Don't try to teach me anything. I will never renounce. I will never let go of this Naam, these words of my Akal Purkh, the Naam of my Akal Purkh, this Bhakti of my Akal Purkh. I will never let go of my Akal Purkh, even if you make fun of me, even if you torture me. Pyareo, karvat pala, na karvat teri, laag gale sun binti meri, jo chan chira, angna moro. Pyareo, you can cut my body into half, you can torture my body, you can cut my body into bits. Kaha payo jo tan payo chin chin, prem jaye to dar pay tero jan. Pyareo, even if people make fun of you, making fun of you that's not even a big deal. Teri bhagt na chodon pave log hasa. If people laugh at me, it's okay. They throw rocks at me, it's okay. They did that to my Guru Nanak Dev Ji as well. If they come with armies, they put a sword to my neck, it's okay. They did that to my Guru Arjan Dev Ji. They did that to my Guru Tegh Bahadur Maharaj as well. Even if they pull everything away from you, they circle you around and then tell you to run away and follow our path, to surrender, it's okay. They did that to my Guru Gobind Singh Ji. They did that to their beloved sons as well. Pyareo, we are those beloved sons and daughters of my Guru Gobind Singh Ji as well. Let's not go under those influence. Choti le pakhanda, naam leya jai taranda. Renounce all of this hypocrisy that we are living in. Follow with your ik man ik chit, your mind, your body, your heart, everything. Don't send your mind into this duality of a little bit of this, a little bit of this. Assimilate into Christian culture, into Muslim culture, Hindu culture, assimilate into American culture. assimilate into Canadian culture. What is this? Why are you more obliged to the Canadian laws than the American laws or the British laws rather than the Khalsa laws? Your allegiance has a Khalsa. This is why you introduce yourself in this way. Who are you? You do not say, I'm Vaheguru Ji ka Canadian. You do not say, I'm Vaheguru Ji ka American or British. No, you are saying, Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa. And whose fateh do you work for? You do not say, I work for the fateh of Canadian economics, or for the economy of the American culture, or for the British pound. That is not what you work for. No, Vaheguru Ji ki fateh, that is what you work for. This is the Khalsa identity. Choti le pakhanda, naam leya jaye taranda. Renounce your hypocrisy and walk this path, pyareo, with your full body, full mind, even your wealth. Tan man tan sab saump gur ko. Hukum manya pai, accept the Guru's hukum to be truth. Khair pyareo, moving forward, Sache Paatshah is explaining this to this Khatri, and they're saying, look at what you were doing. Mahalla pehla, manas khane kare nevaj, churi vagaye tinkal tag. They're saying manas khane, those people that are eating people alive, eating human, the cannibals, referring to the Malays, referring to the tyrant Mughal rule that had come and that is trying to oppress everybody there. They're eating people alive. They're cannibals. Manas khane kare nawaz, they eat people, they kill people, they slaughter people. Yet, they read the nawaz. You go with them and you're reading the nawaz with them. They pray to God. What is the point of praying to God and you're going and slaughtering people's life? You have no daya inside of your heart. Even Guru Gobind Singh in Zafarnama, they're saying this. Pyareo, they say to Aurangzeb, you are a great king, you have a great army, you have got lots of skills, you are a great scholar, but you've lost all of this. It is worth nothing because you didn't have daya, you didn't have compassion in your heart. They're saying, if you're going to follow Islam, follow it to be in the true way. Manas khane kare nawaz, you're killing, slaughtering people, eating people alive. Yet you're doing the nawaz, and they're saying to this Khatri, why are you going and joining them? Shuri vagain tinkal tag, oh Brahman, oh Khatri, what are you doing? You are wearing this janeu around your neck, this tagga. Yet in your hand, you take the shuri, this knife, and you're going and slaughtering people, you're joining people with them. You're oppressing people. Why did you join that side? Sache Paatshah saying, Shuri vagain tin kal tag. Ye you wear a janeu. Ye you wear the religious symbol of being a Hindu, of being a Khatri. Tin kar Brahman pura nad. And look at these Brahmans. They are going. You go to those people that are oppressing. You are joining their side. The Brahmins are going, and just because they need to feed their own stomach, they're just lost in this ritual as well. Pyareo, this is not condemning any certain practice or any certain faith. This is condemning the hypocrisy of things. Not realizing why and who are we working under. The Brahman goes, joins the Khatri and plays the conch shell, plays the puja, does the worship and the practice inside of the house, receives the money. Tinkar Brahman pura nad. He does according to what the oppressors are saying. Ona pe aave oi sad, he eats their food, and whatever the food that they're eating, pyareo, ona pe aave oi sad, that is the taste that they're going to get. Pyareo, there is a saying inside of all of what we call Sanatan, spiritual, whether you're Jaini, whether you're Bodhi in Hindustan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, all of these spiritual and this culture, Punjabi culture even, it is said, Jaisa an, taisa man. Jaisi pani, vaisi bani. The type of water you drink, that is the type of words that you speak. The type of food that you eat, that is the type of mind that you become. Whose food do you eat? And where is this food coming from? How and which way are you earning this food? Are you earning this money by slaughtering people, by selling drugs? That money is absolutely just worthless. It is vain. It is like poison to you. Just like the Sakhi of Malik Pago and Pai Laloji. Pyareo, Guru Nanak Dev Ji goes, squeezes both rotiyan. One comes out of blood and says that you are pretending to be religious. Yet, what are you doing? You're oppressing people. You're this money that you're bringing in, the food that you're eating, it is made from the blood of those poor people. And says to Pai Lalo, this food that you eat, it is full of the nectar, the bliss of the Guru. That is why your food is full of milk, this Amrit. They compare it. That is why who's making your food? That makes a difference as well. Where do you eat your food? In which way do you eat your food? How did you earn the money in which this food is being eaten? Or is your earning truthful? Are you making an honest living or are you not? Tu dharm sach di kirt dharm di karda, kirt sach di karda, kite jhoot di ta nahi karda. Are you doing this business of yours just to make money, but yet you're doing it just because in the business field people will buy lots of alcohol. People will listen to a lot of these songs. Many singers say, oh, I would have followed Sikhi, I would have followed religion, but the reality is you don't make any money in it. So they don't want to go and sing kirtan. Instead, they want to become singers. Because, pyaryo, that is not kirt sachdi, that is not kirt dharmdi. Why? Because you're making mothers, fathers, daughters dance. You're objectifying a woman's body. You're connecting people. All you're singing about is drugs and alcohol. All the people are saying that this is a culture and you're promoting it as culture. And you're saying, yes, deep down inside of my heart, I do want to connect to God. But pyaryo, that is not truly how it's done. You need to be inside and outside 100%. And not do it later. You need to do it now, pyaryo. Follow the Guru's path, pyaryo. I'm not targeting anybody. What I'm saying is look deep inside of your heart. Ona pe aave, oi sad. If you go and join the militia, you go and join the tyrants, the food that they eat, if you're earning from them, you are joining their side. And that is the type of food that you'll eat as well. And that is the type of effect that'll have on your body. Kudi ras, kuda vapar. Because look at their type of earning. Ras, their punji. Look at their capital. How do they earn their money? It is through falsehood. Look at their vapar. Look at the type of business. Look at the type of kirta that they do. It is completely false as well. Kood bol karaya har. And when they speak all falsehood as well. Any action that they do, any type of worship that they do, it is all full of filth. It is all full of lies. And when they speak these lies, they cheat people. They bring capital in. They bring money in. This is the way that they earn money. This is how they make their livelihood. And when you are going and joining them, pyaryo, you are no better than them. You are joining their side. You are part of the same oppression as well. You are oppressor yourself as well. Sarm tarm ka dera dur. Look at sarm and tarm. Modesty. True righteous living and tarm, pyaryo. Righteousness and following the tarm, connecting to Naam, connecting to the hukam of Akal Purkh. All of this has been lost. That house which this would happen in, that being, that mind, that heart which modesty and righteousness would reside in, sarm tarm, they've all gone far away. Who knows how long ago they've been forgotten. Many people say that, oh, these modest things, these are fundamentalist things. These are from back in the day. We need to go forward. But pyaryo, ye cheejan gayi gwachiyan. They've been long lost. Sache Paatshah saying, Sarm tarm ka dera dur. Nanak kood rahya parpur. And Sache Paatshah saying to that Khatri, look all around. Look in this society that you're saying. Kood rahya parpur. Inside of you and outside of you, what is permeating? It is just this kood, just this falsehood. Ehi paripuran ho gaya hai, sari kalak. This filth is pervading everywhere inside of you and outside of you. Any business, any act that you do, it is full of this filth. Matha tikka tere toti kakhai. But what you do on the outside, look, what are you doing? Matha tikka, you're putting this sign of this Hindu on top of your matha. Matha tikka. Tere toti kakhai. Tere meaning around your waist. You're putting this toti. You wrap it around you. This color of this saffron religious Hindu sadhu color. You wear this saffron loincloth around your waist. And yet you put this mark of religion on your matha. Matha tikka tere toti kakhai. Hath churi jagat ka sai. Yet in your hand you have to have this knife, this dagger, this shuri. And jagat ka sai, you are a butcher of this world. You are a hypocrite. First, you are a hypocrite within yourself spiritually. You will not cross over this and be liberated through this world by doing these actions. The next thing, physically, you are joining the oppressors. The next thing, oh Khatri, you are not only joining them, but now this poor Brahman that was there, you are oppressing him as well. Just because he didn't join the oppressors, he is trying to be following righteousness on his own. Because he is being truthful, you join the side of the false and try to oppress him as well. You are a butcher of this world. Hath Shuri, Jagat ka sai pyaro, look in your life. This is an analogy to you. This is an analogy. Are you joining that side? Are you not doing? I'm saying this again and again and again. So you don't just think that this is something, oh, that's a cool story of a Khatri and a Brahman and the Mughals ruled at that time. It's just history. No. Look at yourself. And I want you to sit with these lines in your own home, in your own mind, and think, why do you work? Who do you work for? Why do you work? What influences are you under? Your culture, your family, the government? Who do you follow on Instagram? How is that having influence on you? What songs do you listen to? What TV shows and what movies do you watch? Who are your idols? And what side are you on? Are you on the side of truth? Or are you on the side of false? If you join the side of truth, you become truth. If you join the side of the false, pyareo, you are a butcher of this world, and you will be treated in the God's court as a butcher as well. Hath churi, jagat ka sai, neel vastar per hove parvan. But look how you're doing it on the outside. Neel vastar per hove parvan. You wear this bluish green clothes of the Mughals because he's working on the bridge. He's a tax collector. He's wearing the uniform of the Turks. He's even dressing like them. Are you dressing like just the culture that you're trying to be a part of? Or are you trying to connect to something that's true? Neel vastar per hove parvan, just to be accepted, to be parvan in their eyes, in front of the Mughal rulers. In front of the oppressors, he's saying that I'll wear your clothes as well. Don't worry, I'll dress like you. I'll speak like you. I'll dress like you. Neel vastar per hove parvan, malesh tan le puje puran. And he even eats the food. Malesh Tan, he eats their food. Le Pujay Puran, he eats their food. Yet, in his mind and in his hearts, he's doing the puja of the Purans. He's doing the puja of the Veds. He's doing the puja in the way the Hindus would do. So at home you're doing something else, you're eating from them. But if you want to eat something truthful, you want to connect to truth, you must earn an honest living as well. You must work according to that system as well. That's why Khalsa is a complete system within itself. Its own economics, its own taram, its own culture. There's no Punjabi culture influence. There's no English, British, Canadian, Indian culture influence. It is a complete system. The city of Kartarpur was a complete system within itself. Maybe others have taken that influence, which is a great system. Great thing because they take the influence of truth. Pyareo, but if you're taking your food from false and you're trying to do something else, it won't have an effect in the way that you actually truly live, the way that you try to connect to spirituality. Why? Because you're living hypocritically. You're saying that I want to go and connect to Dharam, yet in your own basement you have a beauty salon which you're cutting people's hair. You have your other side business is a liquor store. It's a tikka. So what are you doing? You're selling alcohol. You're saying that I'm going to take this money and I'm going to do great things for the Khalsa Panth with it. No. Look at what you're doing. Mara says, Malesh Tan le Puje Paran. You want to do this puja, but you're taking the food from the Malesh. Malesh Tan le Puje Paran. Apakya ka kutha bakra khana. Apakya, meaning that in the Hindus, Sanatan Mat, there was a saying that you cannot say these certain words. You cannot speak the language of those that are invading, such as Persian, Arabi, and Farsi. They would be spoken, but they were not allowed to speak these. But the words that cannot be said, you're speaking these words with them. You're going against your own dharma. But Pyaro, this is not saying that any language is wrong. Because in Gurmat, Guru Sahib even uses those certain languages inside of Gurbani. Yak arz guftam pesto dargos kun kartar. The words of Farsi and Arabi are used inside of the Gurbani. All languages are Pravan because only if they connect you to Paramatma, they connect you to God. But here for the Hindu, he's saying that you are saying things that you are not allowed to say. How many times do we say words that we shouldn't be saying? Apakya ka kutha bakra khana. You say these words, those people that are of the other language, of another culture, you're joining their side, the culture of falsehood. And kutha bakra khana, the things that you cannot do. Kutha bakra khana, they kill and they slaughter a goat very, very slowly from the side of the front. And they cut it very, very slowly, and they read the words of Allah. They read these words of the Nawaz. And when it is cut, they call this halal or kosher. When the goat is killed, the Muslims eat the halal meat. The Hindu is not allowed to eat that. Therefore, you are doing this, look, you're a hypocrite, because you are joining their side as well. Choke upar kisa na jana. For you, you take this false, polluted meat, you eat it, you join it, and then you take it and then you go sit in your circle. Choke upar kisa na jana. You make a circle around yourself. This is what they used to do. They used to draw a line all the way around themselves. Sit in the middle of this line, of this circle, and say, nobody is allowed to enter. Choke upar kisa na jana. Nobody is allowed to enter my kitchen where I cook my food, because it is very, very pure. There's no pollutant, because you are somebody that is of low caste. You are somebody that is unworthy. So you can't join my kitchen. You can't enter my circle, because I'll have to cleanse my entire circle again. But it'd be different if you're truly pure inside and out. Pyareo, we are supposed to keep our kitchens clean. We are supposed to keep hygienically everything. We are even supposed to read Gurbani while we are cooking our food. But Pyareo, if you're doing something else, you're joining the Malays. Over there, you're eating the kutha bakra. And now here, you're saying that, oh no, I have to keep it pure. You're pretending to be something else. Inside, you're something else. Chauke upar kisa na jana. Nobody is allowed to join you. Dekhe chauka kaddi kar, upar aaye baithe kudiyar. And on top of this chauka that you make, you the false, the people that are completely false, their mind is polluted, they sit. Mat pitta, ve mat pitta. Then you cry out, oh, nobody come into this circle. Don't touch my food. Don't touch my food. Pet ke kende. Mat pitta, ve mat pitta. Eho ana sadda fitta. Don't come and touch my food. If you touch my food, it'll become an abshugan. It will become unpure, so I cannot eat it. Pyareo, it'd be different if you were inside and outside truly pure. But if you are a hypocrite, on the outside you do something else, inside you do something else, pyareo, don't follow that path. You're saying that somebody unpolluted cannot touch your food, but there is nobody more polluted than your own mind, than your own actions. Because you are truly not connecting to Naam. Tan pitte, paid, karen. What do you do after that? With your own body that is full of filth, you go and do out these tasks. Yet, man jhutha chuli parain. When it comes time to do your eating your food and the way that you want to do it, what do? You begin to do chuli. And nowadays we call this chuli, where they clean the mouth. But this mouth that you are trying to clean, there's so much filth coming out of it all day. There's so much filth going inside of it all day. You lie, you cheat, you slander, you oppress, you join the side, you speak hypocritical words, you slander people. What are you doing? And now you're trying to cleanse it with water. That is not going to cleanse it, because your entire body is full of filth. What is this cleansing your little mouth going to do? Pyareo, we need to eat food righteously. We need to make our food righteously. We need to earn our food and our money righteously. But then, if we aren't, and then we try connecting to Dharam and we just get stuck on just the physical element of it, pero this is not how we'll cross over. Guru Nanak Sach te aiye. Then how do we cross over? How do we become truly pure? Sache Pacha. All of this is summed up in these two lines. To understand this entire hour that we spoke about, understand these two lines and you will understand. Guru Nanak Sach te aiye. Meditate intuitively with pure love and focus on that true Sach, the truth. Akal Purkh, Guru Nanak Sach te aiye. Such hove, in this way you will become pure. Such hove, tan sach paiye. When you become pure, truly pure by meditating on Akal Purkh, then you will attain that Sach as well. You will attain and become the form of truth. So then your body and all of these actions, anything you do after that, everything that we will be pure. Wherever the Bhagats walk, wherever the Guru walks, wherever the devotees ask, whatever they touch, that becomes pure as well. Look at that beauty. Guru Nanak Sach de Aiye, Such Hove, Ta Sach Paiye Pyareo, by reciting with true love. In this world, you can say you're pure on the outside, doing pure actions. You can be tricking the world, but you cannot trick Akal Purkh. That's what in this pauri Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying. To sum all of this up, Chitte andar sab ko vek nadri het chalainda. Who are you going to hide anything from? When you go to hide from your parents and you're buying weed and you're buying alcohol, when your dad doesn't look, you're pouring your dad's alcohol and you're drinking. When you're going and your wife isn't looking and you're texting another woman, you're cheating behind her back. When you are hiding behind the Guru, hiding away from the Guru, you're not doing your Nityanem, you're lying and cheating. Who are you trying to trick? Pyareo, any of these acts that you're doing, you're hiding away from society, you're having affairs with somebody else before marriage. Chitte andar sabko, vek nadri het chalainda. Sache Pacha knows everything, knows even what your mind is doing. This Chetan Sroop Paramatma knows your buddhi, knows your intellect, knows your Chetanta, knows even your memories. Chitte andar sabko. What are we like? We are all beings that are created. Jin Jagat Upaya Tanda Laya. The person that created this universe is also putting them on these tasks as well, because we are in such a way, we are within the creation of Akal Purkh. Akal Purkh, we are living inside of Akal Purkh. Our analogy to help understand this is just like there may be bacteria and viruses and communities of bacteria living inside of our body, but they're still within us. In the same way, we are all just little beings of Akal Purkh, separated in ignorance, but we are living inside of the Chetanta. We can say mind, but that is not the pure translation of it. Chetanta meaning the awareness of Akal Purkh. We are living inside of the power, the Shakti, the entity of God, of Akal Purkh. Chitta andar sabko. Inside of that Chetanta, of the awareness, we are all living and dwelling inside of that. Nadri het chalainda. Vek nadri het chalainda. The Maya Akal Purkh watches over everybody and they bless everybody with this glance of grace. And with this grace, with this hukam, with this power of theirs, they put everybody to do their tasks. Some are being sent away, some are being pulled close. Aape de vadaiyan, aape hi karm karainda. Sometimes to some he blesses them with such vadaiyan, with great guns, blesses them with bhakti, blesses them with Naam, blesses them with Brahmgyan, blesses them with liberation, blesses them with Sat Santokh Dayatarm, blesses them with such great virtues. Aape hi karam karainda, gets them to do the great tasks in this world. He gets them to be such great kings, righteous people, great bhagats, great devotees, great warriors. Aape hi karam karainda, vado vada vad medani, sire sir tanda lainda. Oh my Akal Purkh, you are the greatest of the great. Pyareo, whether it's Brahma, Shivji, Vishnu, you are greater than all of our other deities in this world. You are greater than Rajan, Raj, Pan, Anapan. You are greater than all kings. Rajan mein Raja kahiye, Puman mein Puman. Out of all kings, you are the greatest. Out of all masters, you are the greatest master. Vado vada vad medani. Even this entire creation, Pyareo, you created this world. Whether we look at the concept of Hiranyagarbh, we don't have time to speak about that Hiranyagarbh. Whether we look at all of this way this world was created and we are created within it, even that whole aspect of Brahma that is creating this entire universe and being sustained inside of that, Pyareo, Akal Purkh is even bigger than that. This Srishti, the entire creation, is big. Because my Akal Purkh created that Vado Vada, Vad Medani, this universe is massive. There is no end to its expansion. We cannot find a limit. My Akal Purkh is even bigger than that. Sire Sirtan De Lainda, and on top of each and every heads, this entire creation, Sirjanhar that everybody has created, Sire Sirtan De Lainda, Jin Jagtu Paya, Tanda Laya. He has put everybody to their task. Everybody is doing their task according to the hukam of Akal Purkh. But look, there is even a time when if we do not follow this hukam, do not live pleasing to Akal Purkh, we go into this hypocritical state of thinking. We turn our face away from the Guru. If our Guru, Nadaro Patti Jekre, if they see this, and within their power, Nadaro Patti, a upside down glance that they give us, they can shift our entire lives around. From the top, they throw us to the bottom. Nadaro patti je kare sultana, meaning the greatest kings. Kaho karainda, he can make them to go and start eating grass. There was a time when a Gursikh, during the time of Shah Jahan, outside Lahore, he was doing Ishnan. And in the early morning while doing this bath, he was singing these words of Shri Asa Di Vaar. And when these lines came, Nadaryo patti je kare sultana kaho karainda, he was singing in pure love. Shah Jahan, who was the king at that time, he started hearing and he started saying. He called that Gursikh. He said, how can you be singing these words saying that a king can be eating grass? How dare you say this? And that Gursikh said, these are the words of my beloved Guru Nanak Dev Ji. He stayed steadfast. He did not go into hypocritical thinking that I need to impress the king, I need to impress the ruler, I need to impress those that are more dominant. No. He said that these are the beloved words of my Guru. They are truth. He made Shah Jahan think. That Gursikh left in his bliss. And Pyaro, such a time came in Shah Jahan's life when Aurangzeb, in his trickery, he captured Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan was captured and he was being taken from Lahore all the way towards Delhi. On this path, when he's being taken there, he was captured. He was put behind bars and he's being taken with many soldiers and armies around him. Aurangzeb had taken the throne and Shah Jahan has not been fed for days and days and days. He is starving. Pyaro, his face had gone so skinny. His stomach is aching. And he tells the guards, can you please let me just go with this excuse of to go to the washroom doing a number 2. He says, let me go and just go into that little farm, into those crops of where the chickpeas are growing. These plants are growing. Let me go in there and let me go to the washroom. They are allowed to go and send him in. He goes there, and while he's hiding in these crops, he goes and he starts eating this grass. And while eating this grass, he remembers the words of that Gursikh, Nadaro patti je kare sultana kaho karainda, that if we do such actions in our life, we turn our face away from Akal Purkh, the true Niyam, because Akal Purkh knows everything. If that glance of grace goes upside down, we turn our face away from it. We, based on our own karmas, we destroy our entire lives. Even those kings will be made to eat grass. Those that eat many great forms, Shati Prakar de Pojan, they're eating grass. And Shah Jahan started crying. The Shah Jahan, tears filled his eyes. And when he remembered those words of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, because he also had such shraddha towards Guru Hargobind Maharaj during this time, Pero Dharmangan Pekh na painda, their state becomes so low, let alone grass. They can be begging door to door. Dharmangan, they go and beg and knock on each door. Even then, nobody will give them any charity. Nobody will give them any food, because that is the way their own karma. This is the hukum of Akal Purkh. Akal Purkh knows them. Pyaro, let's not turn our face away from the Guru. Let's not turn our face away from the true reality of what we are living. Do not try to impress somebody else. Live in truth. Do not try to please people. You could be singing many words. Koee Gaavai, Ragi, Nadi, Bedi, Pant kar nahi har har pija Ram Raje. If you're filled with filth on the inside, jina antar kapta vikar hai, tina roe kya kijai, har karta sab ke janda. Oh my pyareo, my beloved Akal Purkh knows everything. Who are you trying to hide this from? You need to become truly pure. Kaho Nanak sach te hai, meditate on that Paramatma. Become the pure. Embrace that Bhakti of Akal Purkh and become inside and outside the form of Gurbani, form of Akal Purkh. Sat Gur ki Bani Sat Swarup hai, Gurbani bani hai. You will merge into the Akal Purkh in this way. So pyareo, renounce your hypocrisy. Inniyan vichariyan kardiyan एक नहीं अनेक प्रकार दी भुल्लां चक्कां गलतियां हो गईयां ने सारी संगत गज वज की फतेह बुलाओ. If I've hurt anybody's heart, if I said anything wrong, please forgive me. वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह.